Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I am joined today by my partner in crime for these previews, Mr. Callum Sanderson. How are we doing today?
I'm doing better than what this card is looking.
Yeah. This weekend, the UFC is making its return to Canada for the first time in several years, and it'll be headlined by the UFC Women's Bantamweight Title Fight. Amanda Nunes making her first defense of her recaptured bantamweight belt that she won off of Juliana Pena by a fairly one-sided decision, and she'll be defending it against Irene Aldana after Juliana Pena pulled out through injury. Callum, thoughts on this card as a whole before we get into the fights. What are your thoughts on this card? Because it's not looking good.
It's not a great card, but how many times have we said that and it's ended up being a good card? I think the main event's being slept on, and I'll go into details when you prompt me to. I think the co-main event sells itself. I think the co-main event sells the pay-per-view.
Yeah, I think I've got a worrying stat for that co-main, but I'll have to. I'll like when we come to it. I saw it, I was like,
is it Ferguson Khabib all over again?
I prefer not to speak.
Okay.
But
it's yeah, like good.
I feel, I don't know about you, but the promotion for this card, considering that you're going back to Canada, expecting a bit of hype, like the promotion's been pretty much zilch. Like I've not really heard any hype.
Yeah, it hasn't been. Mike Mallow fight could be quite good considering he's homegrown talent over there. Nate, that fight should be good. Nate and Ige should be good. That potentially could have been fight of the night. But yeah, it's just when you think of a pay-per-view, now granted, we're quite fortunate in the UK that we don't have to pay pay-per-view to watch this one. We've obviously got a subscription with BT Sport. But if you had to pay for pay-per-view for this one, I wouldn't be too happy. You've got to be a real hardcore fan.
Yeah, I think it's, how much is it, like $80-$90?
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
And usually when you're, oh, sorry, just for dog. Yeah, so usually like with these cards, you usually stack it up with a title fight or two. You stick usually number one contenders fight. You stick an up-and-comer, a legend on it, or a fight with a slight unknown. This could do some fireworks. And they've got the first two. You got the title fight. You got the number one contender fight for the lightweight title that we'll just discuss in a bit. You got the homegrown talent. You've got a fight in the featherweight division that could be a good opportunity for Nate to break into the top 15. And obviously you've got Eric Anders, he's got knockout power. He can, provide us with some moments. So you know what that means, right?
Yeah.
Decision Central.
Again, when we do the predictions and stuff, I don't think it'll be a night full of decisions.
Hey, we pray. We
bloody pray.
We don't pay pay-per-view prices, but we pay with sleep.
We make our sacrifice, innit?
Yeah, we make our sacrifice, especially for you with the kids. You literally go to bed and 20 minutes later, your kids go, Dad, Dad. What? You were up all night? Nah, don't really care about.
Yeah, exactly. They don't give them monkeys.
Yeah, when the promotion around it for me has been really poor, and the thing that really struck it in my head was when I was on the Day Trippers after the show. I asked Matt, who's from Canada. I mentioned the UFC was in Canada, and he was like, "Oh, really?"
That says a lot.
He said that he lives in Canada.
That says a lot.
And he's like, "Yeah, I didn't know that it was coming in a couple of weeks. They've not really promoted it, really." And I was like, "Wow." You've not. Arguably, one of the GOATs came out of Canada, and there's been no promotion. Like, not even a bit of GSP hype. Like, I know GSP doesn't fight anymore, but you could have gotten to hype this card
Yeah.
to make people buy the pay-per-view. But yeah, the promotion as a whole, I think if you look on paper, this is probably the weakest numbered card of the year so far, because we've had a hot streak
Yeah.
so far this year. Like, cards have just banged. Obviously, there's been controversial decisions. I'm actually going to add a section. Which fight's going to have the biggest controversy to get ready for when we go? Can someone take that George back to boxing, please? Please. 'Cause that's where
It's just getting worse and worse every week, isn't it?
yeah, I think especially Kai
Like,
France
felt so
literally
sorry for him.
last weekend.
Felt so sorry for him. He won that. He won it 3-2 or 4-1. There's no way he lost that fight.
They like robbery, and obviously that's all about like the rules need to change and stuff like that. But let's get into the card. Let's start at the top of the card, the main event. Amanda Nunes, first defense of a bantamweight title after she recaptured it against Juliana Pena, against Irene Aldana, who's bidding to become the fourth Mexican-born UFC champion this year, after Brandon Moreno, Yair Rodriguez, and Alexa Grasso. Callum, the big question is it going to be number 4?
Luke, I think it is.
Okay.
I actually do, and I'll explain why. You look at her height, she's taller than Amanda Nunes. I think the reach is virtually identical.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of someone who's been in there with Amanda Nunes, maybe apart from Holly Holm. You could argue Durandamy as well, who is as good as Amanda Nunes on the feet, but also presents a problem when the fight goes to the ground. She knew she could take down Durandamy at will, because Durandamy had nothing for her on the ground. Holly, I think she knew she had the speed advantage. I don't think she has the speed advantage in this fight. Power advantage, I'd still give to her. But I think Nunes doesn't have the speed advantage, and Aldana is big for the weight as well.
Yeah, I think regards to the weight, the last time she made 135 flat,
it's 2020.
2019.
2019.
2019. She's had to arrange bouts at catch weight because she couldn't make the weight. I think Amanda Nunes said that even if she fails to make weight, they'll still fight. And like you see the face off, she's looking lean already, and
Exactly.
I doubt she's even hit a cut yet, like the real cut.
Exactly.
So there is a slight worry here that there could be no championship fight if she does miss weight. But
which would
for
be a
me,
shame.
Things for me, I'm still going to back the champ, but I am slightly concerned of how long is left in the tank. I didn't know this. Irene Aldana is actually older than Amanda Nunes by a couple of months. They're both 35.
Yeah.
And obviously that stat about the 35-year-olds with the title fights, that's only counts in the men's division, not in the women's. But the thing is, I don't know how much she's got left to prove, really.
That's another thing as well.
And let's be honest, she is probably the greatest female mixed martial artist
she is.
of all time, even with the Juliana Pena shock loss. And
it's her or Cyborg, but because she's got the win over Cyborg, people say it's Nunes, which I understand.
I think she's muttered the word retirement, and the second that comes out of a fighter's mouth, you know, sort of half in, half out. She's going to be a mother of 2 soon.
Yeah, in November.
So you're sort of thinking, I think she wants to defend the featherweight belt against who? You might as well get Artur, the hologram.
Well, I think if Aldana wins, which I think she will, they could run it back at featherweight potentially, and Aldana could take that belt as well.
Potentially, yeah. But I just feel like if I think you'll tell with Amanda Nunes in the first minute if she's on it. Because if she comes out all guns blazing, it'd be very interesting to see what happens if she gets caught first.
Yeah.
See whether or not that she's going to go into her shell, whether or not she's going to go, F it, we're going to be throwing bombs.
Yeah.
Both of them are knockout artists.
Yeah.
So, with that respect, you're probably thinking that this is going to be a finish. And you look at Aldana's last fight against Macy Chiasson. I think we were doing a watch on for that
Yeah.
fight. Oh my god, the liver up kick
It was
finish.
crazy. Like, we thought it was like, oh, what happened here? And then when we showed it back, you were just like, oh, we see now.
Oh yeah, we see that
We
power.
see now.
But it's so weird because of Amanda Nunes. Because if Valentina Shevchenko would have successfully defended her belt, then you could have heard like, "Oh, Amanda wins this, we're going to get a trilogy." For me,
Yeah.
that trilogy is dead in the water now. Like that is fully dead. I know Shevchenko still mutters about it, but she's got to take care of business against Grasso in their eventual rematch. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I cannot see this as Nunes' last fight, but she's pretty close to the end, and she's not going to be wanting to go out with like a win loss win loss win loss. She's going to be wanting to leave on a high, and the weight issues. That's a pretty big thing for me. I know Amanda struggles to get to 35, but I cannot remember a time where she has missed weight at 35. So in that case, I'm going to go Amanda Nunes, and still
I'm going Irene Aldana and New, and I'm going for a stoppage as well.
I'm going for a second round stoppage for Amanda Nunes.
I'm going third round stoppage for Irene.
The people's main event. The people's main events. Charles Du Bronx. Oliveira versus Beneil Dariush. This is Charles' first fight since losing the UFC Lightweight Title to Islam back in, was it October last year?
Yes.
In Abu
Yeah.
Dhabi, first round submission loss.
Second round.
Second round submission loss. Against Beneil. He's hungry. I think they both said that if they win this, they are the number one contender, and rightly so. To try and tell Islam that because he still wants a shot at the welterweight gold, and someone
Yeah,
needs to
I
tell him.
don't think Charles is number one contender if he wins. I think Beneil is. I think Charles is dependent on what happens with Poirier and Gaethje. I think Beneil wins is no doubt whatsoever. If Charles wins, I think there's a debate.
I don't know that whole BMF thing. The second you're sticking the belt on that, you're sort of both telling to those two fighters, you're not that guy. Eh? You're just not that guy.
You reckon?
Yeah, it's sort of like a gimmick belt. It's sort of like if you get associated with that, that's sort of the company basically saying, one, you can't sell a pay-per-view without a belt, which is bullshit because they've done it before, because they have sold pay-per-views without having a title. But both of them have even said that they don't really want it, but it's going to generate them more money. But I think it's what Charles's mindset is going to be after that loss, because in his fights up until the Islam fight, he'd get knocked down with the jab, and then the fighters would wait for him to come up. Islam simple jab, and then followed him all the way to the ground because he was like, "Yeah, I'm not worried about your ground game." And I've got a feeling that Daruish is going to be the exact same. Did you see the left he dropped Gamrot with?
Yeah.
I reckon he'll find that chin again, and I reckon he'll follow him to the ground. And talking about that stat I mentioned, Callum, Charles Oliveira in Canada
Oh,
lost to Jim Miller,
yeah.
lost to Bob Swanson, lost to Max Holloway, lost to Anthony Pettis.
Oh, all in
So
Canada.
0-4 in Canada. And it's Beneil Dariush.
I'll be honest, I've predicted it's going to be 0-5. I love Oliveira. Oliveira is my favorite lightweight. I just think this is a really bad matchup for him.
Yeah.
Beneil hits hard, and Charles seems susceptible to that left hand. And with Beneil being southpaw as well, I think it plays right into his hands. But also Beneil on the ground is an absolute beast as well. I hate to say it, Charles as well with inactivity isn't the same fighter as well. When Charles is active and fighting regularly, he's a machine. I think he needs that regularity. I'm actually going for a Dariush finish. I'm going for a second round, and it's going to be horrible watching it and horrible having to do that on a live because Charles is one of my favorite fighters.
I got a feeling I'm agreeing with you. I think we're going to watch him go tap. I reckon we're going to see him get tapped out. Personally, because I reckon he'll follow him into the ground, follow him to the mat, and then tap him out, and then we're going to go. But at least it's going to be so interesting that whole division because I need hope. I need more hope that Islam's going to have a competitive title reign. Like he nearly lost the belt in Australia.
Yeah.
I say that he should have lost the belt.
So do I. I still think Volk won that fight.
But if you want competition in this division, Dariush is probably the guy to. I don't know if not he'd beat him, but he'd definitely put up a better showing than Charles did if they fought. So for me, I think I'm going with Beneil Dariush. Also on the card, I know that we were talking before recording about that this card's a little bit meaty.
Just a little light.
If it had like one more big name, it'd be like, yeah, okay, now.
Yeah.
But it's got some homegrown talent on it. Mike Malott, I think that's going to be a good fight. His wife's on the card as well. Jasmine.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's fighting. I think is she fighting Miranda Maverick? Yes, fighting Miranda Maverick. That's going to be fun. Chris Curtis is on the card. He's headlining the prelims.
Should have been on the main card.
I don't understand. If that would have been on the main card, I would have been able to stomach saying, "Okay, this is a 6 out of 10." Rather
Chris
than
is always, apart from the Hermanson fight, he's always in fun fights.
Yeah, when he doesn't moan like a little girl.
Yeah.
Watch that get clipped up and get sent to him as well. watch that. Oh my god! And obviously,
I actually like Chris Curtis a lot. I really do.
Yeah,
he can come across a bit moany, but I do think he was within his rights to appeal the Gastelum loss though.
Oh
because he was really hard done by in that one.
These refs need stopping, and obviously we got the Dan Ige, Nate. Is it Landwehr?
Landwehr, yeah. That I think is going to be fight of the night.
That's going to be fight of the night as well. Callum, I know that we was speaking off camera about the refs have been a bit dodgy. Which fighter is going to get screwed by the ref this week? And
I don't think the main and the code go to the judges. I think the Nate fight, someone might get either Ige or Nate's going to get screwed, in my opinion.
I'm going to agree, but they're going to get screwed by a ref's going to jump in too early.
I reckon that, maybe. It's either going to be one of the ref or the judges.
You go, oh yeah, this is scored. Pretty one-sided. And then you go to the other guy, you're going, what?
Yeah, it's going to be something. It's just every card there's something at the moment. It's like, what's going on here?
You got video tech as well. Like it's not like you've actually got VAR.
I almost wonder, do the 3 judges by ringside watch the fight, and then
do they have commentary on or off?
Say again, sorry.
I need to know if they have commentary on or commentary off.
No, the commentary will be off. But I wonder if you have 3 judges out back watching the fight on delay, with no commentary as well, or an extra 2 backstage. So you got 5, so you can actually make a decision without being a draw. Because at the moment, this 3 judges in the vicinity of the fight isn't working. Because again, even on TV, bro, we've been to a Bellator event. There's certain things you see on TV that you won't see at a live event, and vice versa. So if you have someone watching it on live by cage side and then 2 others watching it out back on TV, I think then you'll get a better decision.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
the scoring
definitely.
criteria has got to be different as well. It's not boxing. You cannot do 10-9s and 10-8s and all this based on like
Rules need to change in general, because I think when I
yeah,
did my interview with Colin, I think it's very based. If you're a top quality wrestler, you'll be fine. You'll be
yeah,
fine, because it's a wrestler's game, and I think don't forget it's mixed martial arts. It ain't wrestling.
yeah,
It ain't wrestling, and when it's on the feet, it ain't just boxing either. It's mixed for a reason. Let's start scoring it as mixed martial artists. And yeah,
yeah,
I'm all down for open scoring. I'm all wanting to know where you are on the scorecard round after
yeah,
round, rather than waiting until the end. Because if I know I'm 2 rounds down, I'm going right. We're going for the finish, rather than the coach saying, "I think it's 1-1."
yeah,
You could nick it, and then you get the disappointment going, "What?"
yeah,
So,
yeah. It's true.
yeah,
But
but
here's the thing with open scoring as well, though. If you're Kai Kara France, for example, going in, all right, now that's a bad example. I'm trying to think of a fight that was. Let's just say you're a fighter and you know you've won those 2 rounds, but the judges gave 2 of the rounds to the other competitor. It's like you'll probably think to yourself, "What more do I have to do? Do I have to?" And then you're at danger of potentially putting yourself in danger
100%.
and then losing. It's a lose-lose situation, in my
It's
opinion.
the
Just get
it's
the
the
judges right.
anti-cliche, never leave it to the judges.
It's like I don't know if you've seen that clip of Terence Crawford when he's fighting Sean Porter and they go, Sean Porter's winning, and he goes, he's up. And like they're trying to give him instructions in the corner, and he's just like, how is he up in this fight? And then obviously he like literally gets in the ring next round and he stops him. He puts
Yeah,
his foot down. But you can do that in boxing. To do that in MMA, there's so many different variables in MMA. I think it's such a risk to do that. Like the notion of, do you know what phrase I really hate? Don't leave it in the judge. Don't leave it in the hands of the judges. If
yeah,
that's the case, don't have judges then. Let the guys and the girls fight until there is a winner then. Because you can't say don't leave it in the hands of the judges. That is the worst saying of possible because they're there. That you have to leave it in the hands of the judges because it's a sport. This is
yeah,
not a street fight. This is not just a link up and you have a fight in the park. This is a sanctioned fight where you need to have judges and referees. So yes, I should be able to leave it in the hands of the judges, but the judges should be able to do their job.
yeah, yeah. I do think that if the UFC changes the way they do judging, I reckon people will follow suit,
Yeah.
because people don't do it unless the UFC do it. And I do feel like that's where maybe, I think we've mentioned it privately and we've mentioned it on stream, Dana's sort of dropping the ball a little bit. You need to sort of
This
you
is
need to
hard
go
for Dana.
back
What I
to
will say in
making
Dana's
money.
defense, though, it's not the UFC picking the judges, it's the states doing it, even though I think Dana can refuse judges, if I'm not mistaken. But
Yeah,
I don't think they just need gutting out. The judging system across all combat sports just needs gutting out. Because even in boxing, we've seen so many bad decisions in boxing. We
oh,
see so many in MMA now. It just
you
the
even see it in
system needs
football,
gutting
but
out.
that's a different sport altogether.
Yeah. It's like there's too many agendas. They just they're getting away with murder at the moment. It's not on.
And no accountability either, which is
Oh, Kai Car France missed out on 100K the other day because of that
that's life
decision.
changing for the fighters
Bro,
who
100K. You're imagine I tell you someone made a mistake, so you're not getting paid 100K. It's not on. It's actually not on.
words will not describe what I would do to that person.
Bro,
100 grand.
I'd be furious.
It's on site.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
on site. Why lose it out
Exactly.
on 100 grand? And now that's probably cost him a title shot.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
the title shot at the winner of
Yeah.
Pantoja versus Moreno 2
Yeah.
at UFC 290. But it's it's crazy. But Callum, massive thanks for joining me for this preview,
Always a pleasure, my bro.
and let the people know where they can find you as well.
On YouTube at the Sanderson Show, along with Luke doing watch-alongs. Also on Team Coppish for Liverpool and football content, and at Callum Sanderson on all the socials as well. And here for UFC previews and whenever else Luke needs and wants me on the channel.
Oh yeah, whatever you want. Hey, and make sure that you join myself and Callum on the Sanderson show this weekend for our watch on for UFC 289. Fingers crossed it's a good card. Fingers crossed this is the sleeper card, and it's going to be a really, really good early hours of the Sunday morning. But yeah, Callum, massive thanks for joining me. Everyone that's watched, make sure to hit the like, share, and subscribe button, and we'll see you all very soon.
Nice.